Now I'm going to show you a magic trick because that's what these videos are about, but this is a different video. In this video, I want to do more than teach you a magic trick. I want to show you and teach you a method and show you how to manufacture a gimmick, if you will, that will allow you to perform, well, at least dozens of mind reading or mentalism effects. So let me show you kind of a little simple performance, and then the bulk of this video, I want to show you how to make one of these or a set of these so that you can do really cool and easy to do mind reading. Okay, so in this way of using this method, we're going to use a set of 10 cards here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 cards here. And on the front of these cards, I put a little sticker. These were just some jokers from an bunch of old decks. I put a sticker on each one with a random word. This one has a shoe, a ring, a tie. We've got a lion, a boat. There's mother, hand. Let's see, star, bee, cow. So you can see a lot of words that aren't necessarily related to each other, just random, 10 random words. And this is going to be a demonstration of mind reading. That means I'm going to have my spectator think of one of these words, and I'm going to have to figure out what they're thinking. And here's how we're going to do that. So we're just going to take the cards and let them, if they want to mix them up, we should let them mix them up. Spread them on the table however we want to do it. So let's say the spectator has shuffled them sufficiently, and then we can spread them out, or they can spread them out. And here's the point. We want to say to our spectator, it's very important that you have a free selection of one of these words, one of these cards. And I'm going to have you just touch one of those cards, whichever one you want to choose. And then I'm even going to give you a chance to change your mind if you want to, because I really want you to think about this. Now, I know you don't know what the words are yet either, because we just mixed them up. But I just want you to touch the back of any one of these, and let's just say they picked this one. Okay, I'm just going to pick one at random. So let's say they pick this one. So that you would slide this out and say, okay, keep your hand on that, and let's gather these up. I don't want to see the faces of these cards either, because by process of elimination, I could figure that one out. So we're just going to set these aside. And I'm going to have you look at the word on this card. Again, they can change their mind. It doesn't matter. They have total free choice. I'm going to have you look at the word on this card and then put the card in your pocket or hide it or whatever. I don't want there to be any way for me to see what's written on here. I'm just going to want to see what you're thinking of. Okay, so they will all turn away. I can totally turn away, but we're making a video here, so I got to show you the card. So that's the word. Do you see it? That's the word. Whatever the word is, that they'd be thinking of that word. Okay. So then they can take the card and do whatever they want. Put it in your pocket. Don't let me see it. This is all now just performance. However you want to read the person's mind, you're going to know that word. And the way I would do it is say, okay, some of these words are object. They're nouns, like people, place, thing. So the word you're thinking of is an object. I can see the object. If you just picture it in your head, it looks like it's something that looks like something that might be an article of clothing, or it also could be something that you do. So picture the article of clothing that it represents, and I'm picturing a man's tie. Is that what you did? You pick the word tie? Okay. And you know, you can do whatever drama you want. You could use it as a verb. Also, this is something you can do. I'm picturing you tying your shoe or whatever. So however you want to play that out, the point of my demonstration for you is that no matter which word they choose, I immediately know what it is because of this little tricky method I'm going to show you. Now, this method is very simple, and it's based on something inspired by the late great Harry Lorraine, who was a memory expert. And he had something called the PEG system. Now, I'm not using his PEG system, but I'm using the same concept. And there's lots of other memory systems out there. This is a very simple one. And this is what it is. Each of these words, to me, represent a particular number. Now, they won't to you, because you might have a different outlook on doing this. You can use whatever words you want to, any word that you can associate with the numbers 1 through 10. Harry Lorraine's set has a you can look it up if you want to learn his. You can look it up on the internet, and I think number 1 is a tie, which is, I used that. For him, number 2 was the boat, or no, he used the word Noah, as in Noah's Ark, 2 by 2. I just used the word boat. For him, 3, I think, was mother, so that's similar. 4, he used rye bread, so his word would have been bread or rye. I used a lion because I can associate the number 4 with a lion. A 4 is a roar, or lion roars. So what I've done is I've picked 10 words, and to me they are numbers, okay? And again, you can do it even simpler than that. It doesn't have to be a complicated memory thing. You can make 1 is fun, 2 is a shoe, 3 is a tree, 4 is a door. Whatever you want to use to match up numbers with words, that's the first step. So make 10 words, or look up the memory system, a PEG system by Harry Lane, and make your own word number association. That's step 1, okay? The next thing I'm going to do, and by the way, you can do these on just any old cards. I have a bunch of, whenever I get a deck of cards, I throw the jokers in a box. So I have thousands of jokers, and all I've done is I've taken these old jokers, and I just took a label maker, I printed out some words on here. You can see, if you put it up close, you can see this is just a label right across this card. But you don't even have to do that. You can actually handwrite it right across the joker, or right across the face of an old deck of cards. You're gonna ruin 10 cards, or actually not really ruin them. You're turning them into something really cool. So first step, 10 words and 10 numbers to associate with those words. So now, why numbers? Well, because we're going to take these cards and we're going to mark them, right? Very, very simple. So when the person has selected a card, it only takes me a second to see the number, and I'll show you my marking system on the screen. So you can use your own, but I have a really simple one for 10 cards that works pretty good. So like I've said, I've associated these words with numbers, and I have marked these cards with those numbers. So for me, all I have to do is very quickly glance at the back of the card at the marking I'm going to show you in a minute, and I'll immediately know that if I see a 4, that is a lion, because 4, roar, lion, that's what I'm doing in my head. If I see a 2, I know that it's a boat, etc. Okay, if it's the number 9, I know that's a bee, and I can tell you why if you want. I chose those. Okay, so now what about the markings? So what we're going to do, you're going to need to take a bicycle, like I said, a bicycle deck, and it doesn't have to be the jokers. I just happen to do that. You can just get an old bicycle deck. My town, go to the thrift store and get bicycle decks all day long for 99 cents, old bikes, and you could just take and write words across these cards if you want to, or put stickers on them or whatever, as long as you use the bike design, because I'm going to show you a good marking system that's kind of built into the bicycle card writer backs. Okay, so let's talk about that system. I'm going to put it up on the screen. We'll start with the tie. So this is the card number 1. For me, tie is a 1. Tie is in the shape of a 1. What I've done is that little daisy, and I do it in the top left corner of the card. You can see the top left corner of the card right there. That little flower mark right there. I put it there. I've also done it on this side, the left side, so that the cards can be either orientation and I can read them. But you'll notice the little missing petal. That tells me that's a 1. If I color in the next petal down, which would be the 2 for me, let's just do it this way so I can make it easier to show you. For me, that's a boat. So if I see this petal colored in, I call that a 2, which for me is boat, and so on. So I'll put those up. In fact, I'll just show you those now. So you can see if I color in the third petal, that one's 3. The bottom one is a 4. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one's 5. Then the next one is 6. There's the 7. There's the 8. For the 9, what I do is I color in the center dot. That tells me it's a 9. So this is, for me, 9 is a B, and whenever I see that one colored in the center. And then for 10, which for me is hand, because you have 10 fingers, so that's why this is a 10. I don't mark it at all. 10 just means it's not marked. It's completely clean. There's nothing colored in. That's the usual pattern. Okay, so those that marking, by the way, what's good about that marking, it's kind of like a clock, not exactly. Obviously there are 8 little petals, but it kind of works out nicely because the ones that are in sort of the clock shape, you've got the 2, 4, 6, and 8 markings there. As you can see on the screen, you got the 2, 4, 6, 8. So when you're looking at it, it's really easy to see the even numbered ones because they're kind of in the same you know, I would say perpendicular positions. And then the petals that are at the angle, those are the odd ones. You've got 1, 3, 5, and 7. And of course, 9 and 10 are easy. 10's nothing, 9's the dot in the middle. So that's the basics of the marking system. The point of this is it's really easy to make those. Oh, by the way, when I made these, I didn't use any kind of felt tip or anything. I think it's too shiny. It almost glares. I just took a regular ballpoint pen, red pen, and just colored in that little dot. I had to use magnifying glass because I'm old, but I used magnifying glass and I just put a little bit of red ink to color that in, and it just works great. And even with my eyes, I can see those petals, those missing petals, pretty easily. So once you have a set of those 10 cards marked from 1 to 10, you can do whatever you want. I'm just showing you one thing. You can do the peg system with words. It's kind of nice to have words because when you're doing mind reading, those words can be meaningful to people. They can be objects. You can be dramatic, and you're picturing, you're picturing a person. You're picturing a person that means something too. Are you thinking of your mother? So you can do stuff with words that you can't do with cards or even numbers. The other thing you can do once you have these cards made, you can associate symbols with these numbers 1 through 10. Now, most magicians are going to be familiar with, and you might know about the ESP symbols, what they call Zener cards, and those are great to use too. It's usually a set of 5 symbols, and it works like this. If you have a circle, that's represented by a 1 because of the continuous circle. The cross symbol is a 2 because of the 2 lines. The 3 wavy lines, or bacon, or river, whatever you want to call it, that's usually the 3. There's a box for 4. A star is 5. And then that's the usual, those are the typical Zener symbols. Now, I have made a set of cards, I don't have them here, but I've made a set of Zener cards for 10 symbols. And the way I did it, again, you can make up your own. I have, for the number 6, I have a spiral, because it kind of looks like a 6 a little bit. For 7, I have like arrows, double arrows, because they kind of look like 7s, actually. For the 8 card, the symbol I used were 2 rings, because it looks kind of like an 8, or infinity, kind of a little linking ring picture represents infinity. That's just easy for me to remember. And then I put a pound sign because it's like tic-tac-toe. And there's 9 boxes, and so that's the number 9. And for 10, I use an asterisk, like the star button on a phone. Well, for me, those are easy to remember. And so if you can imagine, if you were to take your 10 marked blank cards or jokers or whatever, and either drew those symbols on them with a big fat pen or printed them out on your computer on labels, you have a set of amazing mental cards that, because they're marked in that easy to read way, there's just all kinds of things that you can do. So again, I use jokers because I got them laying around. You could use an old deck of cards from the thrift store. You can also, if you want to, and it's not very expensive, you can get a deck of bicycle blank face. Look at this. So there's 52 blank cards that you can write to your heart's content, and they are bicycle backs. So you can use that same marking system we've been talking about. There's the little flower. If you got a deck of these, you could make 5 sets of 10 cards and still have a couple left over, and you'd have a bunch of mental magic. So anyway, I don't know what to call this. I'm just call these my mental cards because it's more of an accessory than a trick. It's an accessory that you can use and one that you can make very inexpensively and just create your own mental magic with. So I hope that helps you. I hope you have fun with that, and come up with something really amazing and make a video about it and show it to us, okay? All right, I hope you enjoyed that.